A new tag team debuted this week on NXT. Would Andrade, Cien, Almas prove that 100 is 10 times better than the perfect 10? And just what exactly is next for Finn Balor? We're going to talk more about that, ladies and gentlemen, because it's time for WGS-TV Reviews NXT. Hey YouTube, are you ready for your hot tag? Because if you are, it's definitely time to warp.
Hi, this is Buster Graham, and you're watching WGS-TV.
Greetings, YouTube. Yeah, warped way back into another episode of WGS-TV right here on youtube.com/WrestleGamer, and this is going to be the NXT review for the week of June 15th, 2016. And before I get started, I want to address a comment, and that's one of the new things I'm going to start doing. A comment that was made on the NXT TakeOver The End review, and it's in response to me being hypocritical about the fans not knowing who Paul Ellering was. And it's a comment from Ecstasy69, and he said, I think it was the tag team they didn't know, not Paul. Well, Ecstasy, that could very well be the case. Then he would also go to say, a lot of people on the NXT roster will be bumped up. Well, yeah, you know, there are reports out there of, you know, WWE raiding the NXT talent, but, you know, over what period of time are we looking at, and how large of a raid in the talent are we going to see? You know, how many of the NXT talent are going to get bumped up? That's definitely a question to answer, but that'll be for another video. What we're going to be doing on this video, guys and gals, like I said already, we're going to be taking a look at NXT for the week of June 15th, 2016. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, the Authors of Pain, who are the name of the tag team that debuted with Paul Ellering, would just come out and just completely decimate and squash a couple of local jobbers. There's really not much you can say there. They're the basic, you know, 300-pound monster heel tag team, and that's really all the Authors of Pain were. Basically, just think Powers of Pain, you know, the Warlord and the Barbarian, of them reincarnated as Authors of Pain. You know, just reimagined, re-envisioned that, and that's probably what they might take the gimmick from. It is a reimagining of the Powers of Pain gimmick. Now they're calling it the Authors of Pain. It could work. It all depends on how they go about the gimmick. Carmella would take on Tessa Blanchard. Pretty much cut and dry on this one here. They finally gave Carmella's submission hold a move name. It's the Code of Silence, and she used that on Tessa to pick up the win. Now, because of certain internet connections I've had over the past month and a half, I have been unable to watch NXT, but what I've been able to read, there's been a lot of problems with Blake and Murphy. Alexa Bliss left, and now there's tension between the group, and there's also the possibility of them breaking them up. And after they lost to TM61, a tag team that I'm not very familiar with, but they looked really impressive to me. I was really taken away with their moveset. They did a lot of great stuff. They knew how to work the crowd, great chemistry. They did a lot of stuff right. So I got to say, I got nothing but positive things to say about TM61. Except who the hell are they? I don't know who they are, but I'll probably become more familiar with them in the weeks leading into NXT, and as we see them more and more. Now, Ty Dillinger would request a rematch with Andrade, Cien, Almas. This matchup just as good as what we saw at NXT TakeOver The End, and I'll say it again, like I said last week on the TakeOver The End review. Ty Dillinger, even though he's the Zack Ryder of NXT, he's not like Long Island Ice Z, but I'm putting it in the perspective of his gimmick being just, you know, incredibly over with the NXT crowd, with the NXT universe. You know, whenever they see him or they see hear his music, they know that the perfect 10 is coming out, and they all start going, 10, 10, 10. That's because I firmly believe the gimmick works for him. And when a gimmick is over with the crowd, that's when you know that you got something good. And I expect big things to come from Ty Dillinger. If WWE makes the mistake of letting him go, like we let Damian Sandow go, this could be a real bad thing, because Ty Dillinger has the makings of a superstar. They just need to mold him properly, and so far with the Perfect 10 gimmick, they have that. They have that good foundation of a superstar gimmick for Ty Dillinger. They just need to mold him properly. Now, I'm not taking anything away from Andrade Cien Almas. He was a good guy. He's a good guy. He's a great talent. He's got a great moveset. He would end up getting the win again with the running double knees on Ty Dillinger. So Andrade Cien Almas picks up the win. If I could just say something real quick, because I don't like to make these NXT reviews long, because the show is only an hour. But if I said it before and I say it again, Tom Phillips, you suck on commentary. Commentary is supposed to be more than just sports entertainment storytelling, as Joey Styles put it so eloquently years ago when he had his meltdown on the microphone on Monday Night Raw after he got ruffled by the Spirit Squad. There is a certain formula, a certain mixture of move calling in sports entertainment, or in the indies, pro wrestling storytelling. You have to find that mixture, that niche of knowing how to call the moves while doing the storytelling. It is possible. It can be done. I've done it. I have done it with Mid-South Extreme and Gulf Coast Wrestling. I've done it with them. And if I can do it, I'm a guy that's been on the indie scene for 7.5, 8 years, why can't the so-called pros do it? And me and Rick Head, host of Hardcore Wrestling Radio, we kind of conversated back and forth on Facebook during NXT last night. And he's harping more on Corey Graves than he is on Tom Phillips. And one thing I did respond to him about that is the fact that your color guy is only as good as the guy that he was working with. Now, he had good chemistry with Rich Brennan. I've said that time in and time out. But there's just no chemistry there with him and Tom Phillips. The duo is not working. And the fact that we go 2 moves, 3 moves, 4 moves with nothing on commentary, no calling, none of those moves, it literally pisses me the hell off. Because that is not only an insult to a wrestling fan, but it's also an insult to the wrestling enthusiast out there, and the people that go into who put in the hard work, as I'm trying to talk, put in the hard work of crafting these moves, learning how to perform them correctly, just for them to go completely unnamed on commentary. I think that's wrong, and I think WWE needs to stop doing it. Mauro Ranallo, by far, should be the voice of WWE. He has so far been the best commentator since Jim Ross. And one thing I did find out, guys, because I did watch Swerved Season 2 for the first time. Apparently, there is a color commentary class when they do that all-event access events for NXT. If I ever show my face over there, I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm going to take the class, and I'm going to smoke Tom Phillips on commentary. And I'm going to show Tom Phillips how the hell it's supposed to be done. Because what they're doing right now ain't cutting the mustard. I'm sorry, but it's just an insult when you just no-call moves and you focus more on storytelling. Mauro Ranallo knows the mixture. He knows the right brand, the right formula of move calling and sports entertainment or pro wrestling storytelling. Tom Phillips does not know shit. Michael Cole is WWE's bitch. He'll do what he's told. So there's no hope for Michael Cole. There's no hope for Tom Phillips. There is hope for Mauro Ranallo. There was hope for Rich Brennan, but apparently WWE didn't think he was a corporate guy. But anyway, as I get to finally the final segment of NXT this week, the whole thing, you know, the way the crowd made it look, they absolutely thought this was the last time they were seeing Finn Balor in NXT, because they thought after NXT took the end, he was going to get bumped up to the main roster and possibly, you know, get lost in that mid-card shuffle, which a lot of the NXT talent seem to be in nowadays. There are a few of them that have broken free of that grip, you know, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Cesaro, those kind of guys. But there are a lot of them lost in that mid-card shuffle. And so, and we heard the question asked over and over again, you know, what is next for Finn Balor? I had no idea they were going to bring out Shinsuke Nakamura. By the way, his English is really improving. So, because he was able to cut a somewhat decent promo. And now we're going to have a confrontation and a match coming up. I'm not sure when, but with Finn Balor and Shinsuke Nakamura, I got to agree with the crowd. They chanted that this was a match of the year candidate. And I can't really disagree with that. If Shinsuke Nakamura and Sami Zayn at NXT TakeOver Dallas was spectacular, just imagine what we have to look forward to with Finn Balor and Shinsuke Nakamura. Overall score on NXT this week is going to get a 3.5 out of 5. I'm going to give best segment of night to Finn Balor and Shinsuke Nakamura. Again, it was a real shocker because I don't think anybody saw the fact that Shinsuke Nakamura was going to come out there. And the fact that they're going to put two of their best talents, two of their most exciting talents, in Finn Balor and Shinsuke Nakamura in one match, that's got gold written all over it. I don't know how else I can put it. Worst segment of the night, just because, or worst match of the night, Authors of Pain with Paul Ellering just destroying local jobbers. I could have gone take a piss break, but the only reason why I even stayed to watch is to see what these guys can do, and honestly, they didn't show me much of anything. You know, basically, they just did the same old stuff that they did when they took out the American Alpha at NXT TakeOver the End. Basically, didn't really show me anything. I want to see what these guys can do and what these guys have to offer. And if they're with Paul Ellering, they have a really good shot of doing it. But they dropped the ball last night. I have to say it. I have to call them out on that. So my comment question to you guys out there is, how excited did you guys get from seeing Shinsuke Nakamura and Finn Balor in the same ring at the same time? I want you to put your answers in the comment section below. I will read your answers on next week's NXT review. Don't forget to follow me on social media. That's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. That too, because I'm looking at my time and I'm running completely out of time. Also, don't forget, I'll have a couple of videos in the annotations at the end of this video for you guys to check out as well. So with that being said, I am your friendly neighborhood wrestle gamer who needs to learn to wipe his mouth, and I will see you at the next Warp Zone. Bye, guys! Do you understand what that does to a person's psyche and their self-confidence when basically every
Rose, are you? He's fine, Kenny. Don't worry. This is normal for when we go through. Oh, jeez.